It's Friday the 13th of July, and here are your headlines. ExxonMobil is doubling down as it adds a third drill ship to its exploration operations. 3 brilliant young Guyanese are soon going to be off to Mexico to pursue master's degrees. The Berbice River Bridge model, designed under the previous government, has not been a model of success. The CTU ICT Roadshow exceeds expectations. The Civil Defense Commission has conducted flood assessments in Kukwani, and young chefs are cooking up a storm at the Marriott. And now for the details. We start this evening with the news that after 8 oil finds in Guyana's waters, ExxonMobil is doubling down and adding a third drill ship to explore for more oil. Tiffany Rogers has this evening's lead story.
ExxonMobil is finalizing the arrangements to introduce a second drill ship to supplement the Stena Carron in its exploration of the Stabroek Block. New Public and Government Affairs Director Deidre Moe.
That will be in this year, and also be doing some exploration still in the kind of southwest part of the Stabroek Block.
Exxon has had an 80% success rate in its offshore exploration, the most recent being in the Longtail field. It is expected that the estimated value of the Stabroek Block will increase following the evaluation of Longtail.
So we're still saying 3.2 million, but that's what they're looking to update. We're still finishing up doing some of the work at Longtail, and so it'll be probably some time before we get to the new one.
As for Liza Phase 1 developments, Moe says the Noble Bob Douglas drill ship has completed the first phase drilling of 7 wells.
They're going back in and doing the second phase, so they're on track to do that. They started in May, and the FPSO, the vessel, the floating production and storage offloading vessel that will be on site when we begin to produce, is actually on track also as well. It's being built in Singapore.
First oil from Liza Phase 1 is expected in 2020. The company is currently participating in the EPA's environmental impact assessment consultations for Liza Phase 2 developments. Exxon has submitted its development plan for Liza Phase 2 to the government and is expected to begin in 2020 pending the approval of permits and the company's financial investment decision. For InfoHub, Tiffany Rogers.
Finance Minister Winston Jordan described the financial model used to justify the Berbice River Bridge as flawed and blamed the previous administration for permitting its construction despite knowing this. Here are the details.
Finance Minister Winston Jordan explained that any project must be justified using the appropriate model. The Berbice River Bridge's construction and operation, he said, was no different.
When I did my wind-up to this year's budget debate, I indicated that some of these PPP models that were undertaken under the previous PPPC administration did more harm than good to the society. Yes, we wanted a bridge, but not on the model that resulted in the bridge. And I had shown where if all increases were granted as requested in the model, where that rate would have been. And you've seen today that, for example, a car would have to pay $8,000 to cross the bridge.
The veteran economist said that when he questioned an opposition member about the financial model used, he was told that several assumptions used in the model were not realized.
Well, this is the most ridiculous to hear this. All models are built on assumptions, but you have to test those assumptions under the stringence of sensitivity. And if under those conditions the assumptions fall through, then you don't go through with the project. But this is a case where the model was faulty. Everybody knew the model was faulty from day one, and then the pressure will be left on the government.
Minister Jordan recalled that when the government initially approached the BBCI committee to lower fares, their position was that it was a private company and the administration should not interfere.
Well, I don't know what is the big rush now for the government to get involved. I don't know why the stance has suddenly changed, but we are always willing to listen. We are listening to whatever proposition that is being put to us, and we will discuss that, and we will give them our feedback. Already they made a suggestion in the past. It came to Cabinet, and Cabinet rejected it. So, it's up to them if they want to put up some more models. We had put some models to them too.
The finance minister offered some advice, citing the shares sold previously by one of the investors.
They could raise money through selling more of the shares on the share market, on the stock exchange market. So there are a number of options, and the cry not necessarily be more fares because you have less use of the bridge or less passengers, really. And I don't necessarily buy some of the comments that have been made by the chairman of the committee of the Berbice bid, but that's for another time.
Paul McAdam for InfoHub.
Caribbean Telecommunications Union Secretary General Bernadette Lewis said today that the inaugural Information and Communications Technology Roadshow exceeded expectations. More from Stacey Carmichael.
The first in a new series of the CTU ICT roadshows was hosted in Guyana, and according to Secretary General of the CTU, Bernadette Lewis, it exceeded all expectations in terms of diversity and interest, successfully achieving its objective of raising awareness.
It has been a tremendous time, and we're very, very pleased with the outcome. I think we have certainly achieved the objective of the roadshow, which is to raise awareness and educate on the transformative power of information and communication technologies.
She called for more support from both public and private sector for young people who are leading in new and emerging technologies. These include drones, artificial intelligence, robotics, and virtual reality.
We have to recognize the indigenous talent and give them the opportunity to develop, or else we will forever be we would forever be indebted to others for our own development. And development isn't something that somebody else does for us. Development is something that we have to do for ourselves. And information and communication technologies, it gives us a new opportunity for a different type of development.
Minister of Public Telecommunications Catherine Hughes also expressed satisfaction with the participation during the roadshow, especially in the e-agriculture forums.
We had 4 representatives from a lot of the Ministry of Agriculture sub-agencies and groups. They were able to interact with the experts from the FAO, from the I2U, who were able to give them best practices, to share information in terms of projects and what's being done in other parts of the world. And I think most of them went away with a renewed sense of how it is we can start to refocus our traditional agriculture into new avenues of earning revenue, of building and expanding family agricultural ventures.
Minister Hughes added that the e-agriculture forum provided fresh perspectives on how government, in partnership with the business community and civil society, can take agriculture to a new level by incorporating ICTs. The roadshow ends Saturday, July 14 with an e-agriculture forum at the Nan Prasad Complex in East Berbice, Quarantine, Region 6. For InfoHub, Stacey Carmichael.
Following a Ministry of Natural Resources and the Embassy of Mexico collaboration, 3 Guyanese students have been awarded full scholarships to pursue Masters of Science degrees in Geosciences and Natural Resources. Paul Basu, Ramesh Bechu, and Janil Bowen will travel to Mexico later this month to begin the 18-month program. The students, along with Mexico's Ambassador Ivan Roberto Sierra, last week paid a courtesy visit to Minister of Natural Resources Rafael Trotman, who presented them with their official acceptance letters to the Instituto Politécnico Nacional. More news after this break. Daddy! Thanks for staying with us. Minister of Public Health Waldo Lawrence yesterday assured the National Assembly that every instance of neonatal death is investigated and efforts are continuously being made to reduce the number of neonatal deaths nationally.
For every neonatal report, a report is prepared and reviewed by the Child Mortality Committee. And if the report shows any discrepancies, further investigation is done.
Additionally, Minister of Public Health Waldo Lawrence said that there were no increases in neonatal deaths for the period June 2017 to June 2018. A release from her ministry stated that during the period June 2017 to June 2018, there were 6,409 live births and 119 neonatal deaths at the Georgetown Public Hospital Corporation. This is a significantly lower number from the decades-high figure of 295 deaths in 2014. The release further stated that the total number of deaths in the neonatal intensive care unit significantly decreased by an enormous 55.1% from 2015 to 2016 and continues downwards. Minister Lawrence said the government recognizes that whilst it has signed on to the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals and is working towards being compliant of SDG 3, it recognizes that the onus is to ensure that at every level the necessary service is provided to all citizens. As a result, over the last 3 years, the government has expended significant sums into this particular department. Paul McCallum for InfoHub.
Help is underway for Kwakwani residents affected by flooding as the Civil Defense Commission carried out an assessment. Stefan Gabriel traveled to the hinterland community, and here's his report.
Lieutenant Colonel Kester Craig, Acting Director General of the Civil Defense Commission, explained the assessment as a multi-agency one designed to ascertain the needs of affected residents.
We've done an assessment to see the impact of flooding in Kwakwani, particularly Lamp Island and the waterfront area. What we observed that the water level is like about 6 to 7 feet and affected several homes and also farms.
Describing the flooding as a regular occurrence, the CDC head said residents have adapted infrastructurally. Additional data from community leaders, he noted, is needed to deploy needed resources.
I think what is critical now is getting the data in from the community and to determine what are the immediate needs. But in my opinion, I think we need to continue to monitor the water level. Persons need to continue to ensure the water is safe that they're drinking. And we need the assessment coming out from the region to decide where resources will be focused on, how much resources required.
The CDC's initiative is welcomed by the regional representatives.
I welcome the CDC coming on board to assist and to do the assessment in the area because we know that this area is prone to flooding. And I'm very happy that the government of Guyana concerned over the people of Guyana.
I must say a big thank you, and I'm looking forward for some assistance from the offices to assist with the residents who are experiencing the flood.
So far, approximately 300 households have been affected. These are Waterfront, Lamp Island, Araima, and Ginger Island. The CDC will deploy resources as soon as the community report is finished.
Reporting from Kwakwani, Berbice River with videographer Kareem Peters, this is Stefan Gabriel for InfoHub.
And in our final report, 2 local chefs have guided their passion for cooking and baking into securing spots at one of Guyana's finest restaurants and into starting up their own private catering businesses. Crystal Stoll visited the Terra Marie restaurant at the Marriott Hotel, where she interviewed the 2 chefs.
Growing up in the heart of Georgetown, 24-year-old Rennie James said after graduating from the St. Stanislaus College in 2010, she hadn't a clue of what she wanted to do. It took her 2 years to realize that her passion for cooking was meant to be more than just a hobby. She pursued the certificate course in cake and pastry making and a 2-year diploma course in catering and hospitality at the Carnegie School of Home Economics. Rennie then applied to work at the Guyana Marriott's Terra Marie restaurant. She is now celebrating 3 years there as a chef.
It has been quite an experience. It has taught me so much about who we are as people, whether we have different socioeconomic backgrounds or wherever we come from, and what we bring to the hotel and its brand. And for me, the most memorable thing about the last almost 3 years for me was working with, in my opinion, one of the greatest chefs.
Since joining the establishment, she has taken away a lot to improve herself.
Definitely, first and foremost, having respect for what you do and the product that you put out in each and every single plate, but also having respect for your fellow man and everyone else that you come across, and just putting forth the best that you could do every single day. And aside from, cooking the best food or making it look the best or making it look the most pretty, it was all about putting your heart on each and every single plate.
Renee is in the process of establishing her own catering business and currently does catering from her Georgetown home. The young chef plans to further expand her knowledge in other aspects of the food industry and establish her own brand. She hopes to add being a food critic, food writer, training others, and a food magazine producer in the future. Renee can be contacted on her mobile 619-0012 or her email reneecreates@yahoo.com. Also following her passion in the culinary trade, 24-year-old Sarafina Edgel is currently completing her diploma in catering and hospitality at the Carnegie School of Home Economics. Edgel said she was placed at the Terramere restaurant on work attachment to carry out chef/cook duties for a 6-month period.
Honestly, it's like, like there's this one gift that you always wanted and then, boom, you actually got it. It's like a dream come true for me because I want to dream in a lifetime that I would have actually been here no time. I come and I dine, but who knows that I would have been at the back in the kitchen cooking.
In the future, she plans to open her own bakery and own her own restaurant. She is already popular on the local market as the Cupcake Queen or Chef Edgel, since she does catering outside of her work attachment at the restaurant. Sarafina can be contacted on her mobile at 685-3444 or her Facebook and Instagram medium under the name Chef Edgel. Reporting for InfoHub, Crystal Stahl.
And we leave you with your bridge and weather reports. Have a great weekend and be sure to catch InfoHub Recap and InfoHub In-Depth. Tomorrow, Belgium faces England in the World Cup third-place playoff, and the big game is on Sunday between France and Croatia for the trophy. Happy watching. Goodbye.